What's good, people? It is Tony the Savant. And before we get started, please like the video, share the video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel. As well, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily, stay very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section as I'm always intrigued to hear what you all have to say about these topics. And ladies and sports fans, and gentlemen, we are recapping the Monday Night Football showcase between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the undefeated as well reigning Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. As this was a good game, man. This game was actually a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. A lot of big plays, a lot of action. Wasn't positively sure how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was going to look, but I figured that the Kansas City Chiefs would keep rolling as if you've been keeping up with the NFL season this year, the Kansas City Chiefs, man, they just keep finding ways to win. If it doesn't matter if Patrick Mahomes is having a good game, bad game, he's just if he's just having a mid game. The Kansas City Chiefs defense has been, if I can describe them, they've been bending but not breaking for the most part. And they've been coming up, very, very big on some crucial plays throughout the entire season. And the trend continued in this game as the Kansas City Chiefs were at home for this showcase, and Patrick Mahomes did his thing. I can't even just say Patrick Mahomes, man. I got to shout out Patrick Mahomes. We also gotta acknowledge DeAndre Hopkins, who just who was recently traded, I believe, 3 games ago now, to the Kansas City Chiefs from the Tennessee Titans. He's been very, I could say, he's been a great addition to this team and to that wide receiving core. And we also got to shout out the big Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's boyfriend himself, as he had himself a big game as well, low key. So I was going to read this article from ESPN real quick as I was kind of reading over the game as I got up this morning. Watched it last night, but I crashed, man. I had to get some sleep last night. Had a big day at work. So I'm going to read this article from ESPN as like I say, I read these articles because I feel like this covered the game the way I saw it. But the article starts out, well, the title of the article says, Mahomes throws 3 touchdown passes. Hunt scores a touchdown in overtime as Chiefs beat Buccaneers 30-24. Kansas City Chiefs coach Andy Reid watched as the Buccaneers drove down the field in the final minute of regulation, and Baker Mayfield threw a touchdown pass that put Tampa Bay within a 2-point conversion of ending Kansas City's perfect start to the season. Tampa Bay Bucks coach Todd Bowles admitted to giving very minor thought to going for a 2-point conversion before kicking the extra point that sent the game to overtime. And if I may interject there has been some controversy I've been seeing in the NFL streets pertaining to Todd Bowles' decision to not go for the 2. Listen, man. Listen. There was nothing about this game as far as how it was trending that said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had to go for the 2. In fact, that the Buccaneers had maintained a lead for a great portion of this game. It wasn't like the Kansas City Chiefs was just beating them down. I mean, again, Patrick Mahomes was in a certain groove. He's starting to look like the Patrick Mahomes that we all have known and loved. As that has not been the case for the entire season. He's had some bad games, let me say. But this game, sitting in the pocket, dicing up a defense, he was doing that a little bit more. But so was Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was putting up points for this team. Not just him. Rashawn White was getting busy. Bucky Irving got a couple big first downs. So as far as the trend of this game goes, I probably wouldn't have went for the 2 either. A lot of people are jumping on Todd Bowles for not going for the 2, but I don't really have a qualm with that. In the game this close, anything could have happened. And me personally, I was just waiting on the Patrick Mahomes interception. Personally, I was, because I got Patrick Mahomes as my quarterback in one of my fantasy football leagues, and dude has been surefire all season to give up the ball at least once. So, great for me that didn't happen. But if I'm coaching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and I'm in that exact same situation that Ty Bowles was in, I'm gonna probably do the same thing, and I'm just gonna hope that my defense can get a stop in overtime and or my offense get the score because that's what they have been doing the entire evening. And like I say, Baker Mayfield was throwing the pill around pretty good. So was Patrick Mahomes, but neither side, neither team just had an overwhelming control or momentum in this game where you feel like, all right, we should go for the two because we may not get another chance. But respectfully, I just wanted to interject because I've been seeing a lot of people in NFL Twitter going hard on Ty Bowles for not going for that too. But anyway, the article continues. I'm glad he didn't. Andy Reid said with a smile. That's because the Chiefs won the ensuing coin toss, and Patrick Mahomes capped a big day 290 yards passing and 3 touchdowns on a gimpy ankle by going 5 of 5 on the only drive in overtime. Kareem Hunt finished it off along with a 106-yard rushing performance by plunging into the end zone from 2 yards out to give Kansas City a 30-24 victory on Monday night. Everybody had a piece of this, Andy Reid said. DeAndre Hopkins had 8 catches for 86 yards and 2 touchdowns, as we talked about a little bit earlier. And Travis Kelce had him a big game as well. He had 14 catches for 100 yards with Taylor Swift watching from the booth in a defense missing more than a couple key players with 2 injuries. Held Mayfield to 200 yards passing and 2 touchdowns while shutting down the Tampa Bay Buccaneers running game as they only managed 95 yards. Ooh, sorry, y'all. Look at this stopwatch, bro. Low key, I've been trying to figure out how to take this alarm off my stopwatch. Cause I'll be at work and the sucker would just go off in the middle of the office and it just be like, oh my goodness, crazy. But anyway, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs defense were able to bring the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rushing game to a stall this game. The article continues. The results was familiar. The Chiefs won their 14 straight, dating back to last season, the longest streak since Carolina started 14-0 in 2014, and they became just the sixth Super Bowl champ to start 8-0 the following season. They also have won their last 8 games when trailing in the second half, including the postseason. So the Chiefs have, as you heard, have been doing their thing, dating back all the way to the last year's season. So um, kudos to them, man. 'Cause like I say, the Chiefs have just been finding ways to win, and I'm rooting for them to complete the three-peat. I am. I will let us see that on Patrick Mahomes' resume. He's already done a lot that I bet a lot of people didn't foresee him doing. I've had the privilege of watching Patrick Mahomes play football since he was in high school, as I lived in Texas in the area where he grew up in, and Patrick Mahomes has always been a stellar athlete. He was a pretty good baseball player as well. But let's finish up this article. The Buccaneers and their chance, or excuse me, the Buccaneers had their chance when Mayfield hit Ryan Miller in the end zone with 27 seconds to go. But rather than go for the win, Coach Bowles decided to kick the extra point, and Bucks ended up losing for the fourth time in 5 games. We've got guys who are not going to quit fighting to the end. Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Sterling Shepard said, and I'm really proud of the group in the way in the way everybody fought. We just got to clean up some little stuff, and that's what this league is all about. It is a memorable first half for two players who've been waiting to play in the Arrowhead Stadium. The Bucks' Rashawn White grew up about 10 minutes away in Kansas City, but his family could never afford a ticket for him to see a game. He wound up taking a circuitous path through Division II, Nebraska Kearney, and a California junior college to Arizona, where he eventually became a third round pick of Tampa Bay in the 2022 NFL draft. 2 years later, Rachaad White finally got into Arrowhead and in the end zone. He punctuated his 7 yard scoring run in the second quarter. Uh, he punctuated his 7 yard scoring run, in the second quarter, which gave the Bucks a 7-3 lead by nearly tossing the football all the way into the second deck. Boop, 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 boop. Then it was DeAndre Hopkins turning. Then it was DeAndre Hopkins' turn, um, as he turned in his first home game since arriving in Kansas City from a trade from the Tennessee Titans. The three-time All-Pro, who already had called 4 passes at that point, reeled in a third down heave from Mahomes amid triple coverage for a 35-yard gain that put the Chiefs inside the Tampa Bay 5. 3 plays later, Mahomes found him again in the back of the end zone, and Hopkins celebrated the touchdown with a dance from Remember the Titans. And if you all remember the movie Remember the Titans, one of my favorite sports movies, that was really slick by DeAndre Hopkins. He did the Remember the Titans dance, and he's just been traded from the Tennessee Titans. Um, Tampa Bay tried to seize control with consecutive scoring drives to start the second half. The first ended with a TD pass to Cade Otton, the latest tight end to shred the Chiefs, and Chase McLaughlin 47-yard field goal gave the Bucks a 17-10 lead. And I've been totally forgetting to shout out that brother Cade Otton, man. He's been really stepping up for this team with the injuries to Mike Evans and was other Godwin. Um, Cade Otton has been he fell right in, putting up good production, if I do say so myself. The Chiefs answered in the fourth quarter, though. Mahomes marched them through the driving rain. 70, yeah. Mahomes marched them through the driving rain 70 yards for the tying touchdown pass, which he delivered to Samaje Perine while landing awkwardly and tweaking his left ankle. He then threw a laser to Hopkins on third and goal from the Buccaneers 5 to give Kansas City Chiefs the lead. And yes, that's something that I meant to mention as well in the intro. Patrick Mahomes did suffer an injury scare. The field may have been wet because his foot kind of got caught in a little bit of the terrain, and it looked kind of bad. But Patrick Mahomes is a warrior. Kudos to him. It was also the same ankle that last week, I can't remember, I think they faced off against the Raiders. He got tackled on a play, and his ankle got caught underneath the defender. It was a bad act. It was an ugly accident, aesthetically. So happy to see that. Patrick Mahomes isn't injured, that he's back upright, and he did return from this particular gimp that he experienced in this game. And so we'll monitor his health as we move forward. Let me see if there's anything else. Mahomes said later that the ankle injury scared him more than hurt him. He was checked in the sideline tent, but he was quickly back to throwing footballs in an effort to stay loose. And he never gave Reed an opportunity to pull him from the game. You feel the pain and that scares you, Mahomes said, because I've dealt with ankles before, ankle injuries, but I just kind of laid there, and as time went on, the pain subsided. I just kind of got to it and got moving again and felt comfortable going out there. Tampa Bay promptly went 3-and-out after Kansas City took the lead, but its defense got the ball back. And this time, Mayfield calmly led his team down the field. He capped the drive with a touchdown toss to Miller, his first career touchdown catch with 27 seconds to go, and Tampa Bay elected to play for overtime. And again, that would be the decision that sealed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' fate. Let NFL Twitter, tell it. But kudos to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's look over at these box scores and see who did what, to get us a better picture of how this game unfolded. Also, I want to mention, I'm not sure if I read it in this article, if I even said it, but the Chiefs are the sixth, number six team to go 8-0 after winning the Super Bowl. So that's impressive in itself as well. And again, the first team to do it since not the Carolina Panthers didn't win the Super Bowl, but they did. The Chiefs are the first team to start off a season this hot with this long of a win streak since the Cam Newton Carolina Panthers, which seems like that was ages ago now. Uh, all right, so looking at the box scores real quick, we're gonna look over here to the Buccaneers. Again, Baker Mayfield was doing his thing, playing some mistake-free good football. He went 23 of 31, 200 yards as mentioned before, with two touchdown scores. He was sacked two times and finished off with a QBR of 64.7. Bucky Irvin led the way in the rushing department. He had 7 carries for 24 yards. Sterling Shepard had 2 carries. Baker Mayfield rushed 4 times for 20 yards. And Rashawn White, who didn't have, I thought he had a better game. I guess when I was watching the game, I felt like Rashawn White was a little bit more active, but he was active both on, rushing and catching the football. But he rushed 3 times for 19 yards and a touchdown score. Moving to the receiving core, as I mentioned before, Cade Otton has really taken up the number one receiving duties as the tight end. He had 8 catches for 77 yards and 1 touchdown score. His longest catch was for 18 yards, and he also had 11 targets. So his upkeep has gone up tremendously again since the injuries to Godwin and Mike Evans. Sterling Shepard had 4 receptions as well, 48 yards. He had 5 targets, and I don't know if I said it, but Cade Otton had 11 targets and caught 8 out of those 11 for my fantasy footballers out there. But that was about it for the offense. Let's see what the defense. The defense did come up with 4 sacks for sure. It seemed like Patrick Mahomes was just a sitting duck on some of these plays, but who all got those sacks? Let's see. Vita Villa, he had 2 sacks, and Kalaje Kancey had 2 sacks. So kudos to those brothers. But for the victor, the winning team, Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes had himself a good outing, 34 of 44, 291 yards, as we said before, 3 touchdown scores, and a QBR of 77.5. He was sacked 4 times, respectfully. Kareem Hunt had himself a day. Man, I got to see if Kareem Hunt is on the waiver wire. I doubt he is, but geez Louise, he had 27 carries for 106 yards. That reminds me of who was that? Joe Mixon or Zach Moss, one of the two that started off the season. I believe it was Joe Mixon, but he had like 30 carries the first game. Crazy. But Kareem Hunt got close with 27, 106 yards, and a touchdown score, respectfully. He also had a long run of 15 yards. But with Travis Kelce and the wide receiver core, it was a game with the tight ends, we could say, because Cade Otton had a big game, and so did Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce finished the evening with 14 receptions, 100 exact yards, and had 16 targets, caught 14 of those, and a long catch for 20 yards in the game. DeAndre Hopkins again had 2 scores on the evening, but he finished with eight receptions and 86 yards. And he also, out of his 9 targets, that was his production. So good for him. And again, Samaje Perine had a touchdown pass. Excuse me, not a pass, but a touchdown catch himself. He went he had 4 receptions for 25 yards in addition to that touchdown score. So very good night for the offense. Let's look at this defense real quick. They had 2 sacks. Who was able to get him? George Karlaftis, and he had a bit of an injury scare, but I believe he returned to the game himself. And Felix Anadike Uzuma. So he had a half a sack himself. So look for the other half a sack. George Karlaftis had one. Oh, okay, here he is. Drew Tranquil. He had a half a sack as well. So again, the Kansas City Chiefs defense bent but did not break. Showed some championship pedigree. As this was a good game, went exactly down to the wire into overtime. And I got to give my credit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with all of the injuries that they've had, all of the setbacks that they had. They are just chugging along, even in the games that they're not winning. They're competitive. So we'll see, man. As the the NFC South, it looks like it's going to be the Falcons division to lose, respectfully. Yeah, because the Falcons are 6-3 right now. Tampa Bay is 4-5 after Monday night. And they kind of running away from Carolina and New Orleans, who are both 2-7 in that division. So we'll see if they can stay on the Atlanta Falcons' heel. I believe that they do have another game against the Falcons, respectfully too. So I know that Godwin is out for the season. I look at the injury report on Mike Evans and see what his timetable is for returning and see if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, well, I was calling them the Tampa Bay Bakerneers, respectfully to Baker Mayfield, but see if they can get it together and get it into another postseason this season as well. So that's all I got for y'all. Again, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, defending champions. Stay undefeated for the season. Very impressive stuff. But on your way out, like this video, share this video, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live on the channel as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel as I drop content daily, go live daily. Hey, very busy on the platform. And last but not least, please leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. I'm always intrigued to hear what y'all got to say about these topics. I am Tony the Savant. Peace.